Ever get this, like, feeling, this pull towards something more, like a part of you is missing? And you just, you're searching for that thing, that click to make you whole.
Yeah.
Turns out it's not just us. People have been grappling with this idea forever, back to, like, ancient Greece and all that. So today we're going deep on, well, the pursuit of wholeness, you could say. In Western thought, I mean. It's going to be a good one. Stick around.
Quite a journey, actually. We're talking ancient Greece, all the way through, like the Enlightenment, even beyond.
Right. Big names, too. Plotinus, Augustine. Oh, and Hegel. We've got them all today.
Oh, yeah, the whole gang's here.
And for source material, get this. Excerpts from a Vietnamese blog series, of all things, talking about the origins of dialectics, no less.
It's wild how these ideas, they travel,
Yeah.
across time, across continents.
Yeah.
Because deep down, it's about something everyone relates to. That tension between, like, feeling flawed but wanting something bigger than ourselves.
Exactly. Like, we're listening in on a conversation that's been going on for centuries.
Yeah.
Each thinker, they're passing the baton, adding their own, I don't know, their own spin on what it means to be, like, fully human.
And it all kicks off, really, with Plotinus. Big name in Neoplatonism, believed in this ultimate reality, something beyond what we can totally grasp, called it the One.
Okay.
And here's the thing. He saw the One as representing our true nature.
Yeah.
That wholeness we're always after.
So hold on. If the One is like us, our best selves or whatever, why is there all this imperfection? Why do we feel so, not whole?
Well, Plotinus figured it's because we exist in time, in the material world. That's what creates the separation. Think about it. Past is gone. Future's not here yet.
Right.
Our senses are going wild. Thoughts pulling us every which way. It's hard to just be unified right here, right now.
It's like you're trying to see yourself in a pond or something, but the water's all ripply. You catch a bit, but never the whole picture.
Perfect way to put it. And for Plotinus, the way to fix that, to get rid of the imperfection, it was about breaking free from those limits, shedding the material, the purely intellectual, and, like, ascending back to the One where we find that true unified self again.
Like we're on a quest to remember something we forgot, that we were always whole. But then what happens when we bring God into this whole thing? That's where Augustine comes in, right? Huge name in Christian thought.
Oh, Augustine was all about Plotinus, totally influenced by him. But he took those ideas and put them into a Christian frame. Like Plotinus, he figured being stuck in time, that's the root of our problems.
Yeah.
But then Augustine adds this whole other layer, original sin, and the idea that to bridge that gap to God, we need grace.
Like we need help, a lifeline to pull us out of the mess and point us towards something better, something higher.
Exactly. Augustine was convinced. We can't do it alone, get to unity with God just by trying harder. We need God to step in to be part of our salvation. That's where grace comes in. It's not earned. It's a gift straight from God. And through that, we get to experience that wholeness we're craving.
It's like when you feel totally lost, right? Overwhelmed. And then, boom, someone's there. Offering help, saying the right thing, even just listening, you're not alone in the struggle.
Exactly what Augustine was getting at with grace.
Yeah.
Then, if God's so good, so powerful, involved in our lives and all, why even make an imperfect world in the first place?
Right. That's the classic problem of evil, suffering. Philosophers, theologians, they've been arguing about this forever. Where do you even begin to unpack that?
Well, Plotinus, he tried to tackle it with this idea of excess. Like, creation was this overflow of goodness from the One. Imagine a fountain just pouring out water endlessly. That's creation. Just overflowing divine energy.
Beautiful image, but does it really explain, the bad stuff?
There's the rub, right? Doesn't quite hit the mark. Augustine, though, he said God creates because it's in his nature, his goodness, not out of necessity. But even that opens up a whole other can of worms, theological debates that are still going on today.
Every answer just leads to more questions, huh? But isn't that what's so great about philosophy? We get to wrestle with these huge, impossible ideas, look at them from all sides, even just sit with the mystery of it.
You got it. And as we move from those ancient guys to the Enlightenment, the whole game changes. It's not just about God dictating everything anymore. People are looking at natural law, the state of nature. Like, we have a say in this whole being human thing.
So instead of looking up for answers, they started looking inward at what makes us tick.
Exactly. And that led to some seriously radical ideas about what people are capable of, about freedom, about what's even real in the first place. But we'll get to that next time.
So last time we were, right on the edge of something big. The Enlightenment, right. People were starting to ditch the dogma, look inside themselves for answers. It's kind of awesome when you think about it. Like, humanity woke up and was like, wait, maybe we have some say in this whole being human thing.
Totally. And Right in the thick of it, there's Kant, trying to make sense of reason, freedom, all in a world that seems kind of set on imperfection, you know?
Oh, yeah, Kant. Deep thinker, that one. I'm going to need, like, my philosophical dictionary for this part.
Fuck yeah, let's try this. Imagine there's a whole other world beyond what we see, hear, touch. Pure reason, pure truth. That was Kant's transcendental idealism. Two realities, basically. There's the phenomenal world, the one we experience, day-to-day stuff.
Makes sense.
But then there's this other one, hidden, the noumenal world, where reason and morality live.
Whoa, okay, so it's like there's the world we see and then the control room behind it making it all happen.
You got it. And Kant figured, sure, we can't touch this noumenal world with our senses, but we get hints of it. Through morality, through that gut feeling of what's right. Ever notice how even when things are messy, you still feel that pull, like this is what I should do? That's us, tapping into the control room.
It's like that voice in your head that's like, nope, wrong, even if you can't explain why.
Exactly. And here's where Kant goes next level. That ability to judge right and wrong, to choose, that proves we're not just robots following a program. We have real freedom.
Wait, so our screw-ups are trying to be good? That's actually showing we're free to choose. That's deep, man.
Right. And Kant didn't stop there. He thought this whole moral law thing, it points to something bigger than us. Like, for morality to make sense, there's got to be a God. Freedom that's absolute, even immortality, even if we can't, like, scientifically prove it.
So even if there's no lab results saying, yep, God's real, the fact that we even care about good and bad means there's something more going on.
That's the gist, yeah. Now, let's switch gears from Kant, the individual, to Hegel. This guy, he wanted to explain, like, all of history, all of consciousness, the whole shebang.
Hegel, right. Heard he's a tough nut to crack. Hit me with it. How do you figure we fit into this wholeness thing?
Okay, so picture this. Reality itself, it's not static, it's always becoming. It's on a journey figuring itself out. This journey, he called it the dialectic. Basically, ideas duke it out. Every idea, it creates its opposite, right? And from that clash, they make something new. Over and over, pushing history and our minds forward.
Like a cosmic dance battle, but with, like, deep thoughts instead of sweet moves.
Love it. And for Hegel, this wasn't just happening in some abstract void. It was in history, in our struggles, our wins, even our mistakes.
Okay, so tie this back to us being imperfect. What's the connection?
Hegel believed what we see is imperfect, those flaws, the limits we hit, even that need to prove ourselves to each other. It's all part of this big old journey of spirit, what he called Geist. Like, those are the growing pains of the universe, getting smarter, more aware.
So even the worst stuff, the facepalm moments, they're somehow part of this big cosmic plan to level up.
Exactly. And the end goal. For spirit to know itself totally. He even said, the real is rational, the rational is real. Like, even if it seems messy, there's a reason behind it all, pushing toward something.
Oh, my brain's kind of fried, gotta be honest. But if it's all, like, predetermined, where's the room for me to choose? Am I just along for the ride?
People debate that about Hegel all the time.
Yeah.
He wasn't saying we're puppets. He believed in freedom, but it was tied up with this big picture stuff. He even had this whole thing, the master-slave dialectic, showing how we figure out who we are by bumping up against other people. That need to be recognized, to matter, it shapes us.
So it's like, our journey is personal, but it's happening within this huge push and pull of everyone around us, not just finding ourselves alone, but through how we connect, clash, all that.
Nailed it. Now, building on Kant's freedom thing, we've got Fichte. This dude, he went even further. Imagine if the world, what we experience, is actually us projecting outward. Like, it's all our thoughts, fears, desires, just beamed out and becoming what we think is real.
Hold up, are you saying, like, reality's subjective? That we're making it up as we go?
That was Fichte's jam. He was all about I, the ego, absolutely free, deciding everything. The world's not separate, it's us reflected back. Every encounter, it's us learning about ourselves, breaking our own limits, making our reality through choices, through sheer will.
That's powerful stuff, but also kind of terrifying. If I'm the author of my reality, does that mean all the bad stuff? That's on me too.
$1 million question right there. And that's what led to Fichte's moral code, you could say.
Yeah.
He thought all this freedom, it means huge responsibility. We got to strive, become self-aware, push our own buttons, be the best us possible. Otherwise, what's the point?
Like he's saying we owe it to ourselves, to the universe, to make our reality match our biggest dreams. No slacking allowed.
Exactly. And that, my friend, brings us to the end of our German idealism crash course. From Kant's Two Worlds, to Hegel's history on Fast Forward, to Fichte's It's All You philosophy.
Dude, my brain needs a nap. But before we call it a day on this whole wholeness thing, there's a few more thinkers we gotta meet, each one with a different spin on this whole being human thing, right?
So absolutely. Buckle up. We're heading to the medieval period next.
All right, so we're back and ready to, I don't know, round out this whole journey we've been on. We've gone from like ancient Greece through the Enlightenment, even got a little taste of how wild those German idealists were, right?
It's been something. But this time, we're hopping back a bit. Time traveling to the medieval period. And the thinker we're meeting, John Scotus Erigena, philosopher, theologian, had some seriously out there ideas about creation, about how we fit into the big picture with God and all that.
Gina, okay. Lay it on me. What's this Irish thinker all about? How's he fit into this whole wholeness thing we've been talking about?
Well, he was like really into Neoplatonism, like a lot of the guys we've talked about. But he took those ideas and, I don't know, ran with them in a way that'll make your head spin. Picture this. Creation, the universe, all that, it's not separate from God. It's like an unfolding of God's own being, as if the divine is, I don't know, pouring itself out into everything, and then ultimately it all flows back to the source.
Hold on. So it's not just that God made the universe, but the universe is God in a way. That's a lot to take in.
Right. And Erigena, he thought this whole flow, this returning to the divine, it's all driven by love. Remember how Plotinus talked about the soul ascending, going back to the one? Erigena, he takes it even further.
Wait, so it's not just about us, like individually finding enlightenment, getting our souls back to the source or whatever.
Nope. He thought everything is on that pilgrimage back to God. Rocks, trees, you name it. The whole universe doing this cosmic dance, splitting apart, coming back together, always searching for that wholeness, that unity with the divine.
So it's like cosmic homecoming. Everyone's invited. But if everything ends up back in that unified state, what happens to us? Do we just get, like, absorbed? Or is there still some me left?
A good question. And Erigena, he's a little vague on that point. He talks about how we'll be like restored to our perfect state, no more limits of being human and all, but also that where we end up in this heavenly hierarchy, it depends on how much we love God. So there's, I don't know, unity, but variety too.
And like we keep our own special something, our own spark, but it's, I don't know, purified, amplified by being part of the big light show, one with everything, but still our own selves.
You got it. Now let's fast forward a bit to the 15th century. Meet Nicholas of Cusa, philosopher, cardinal. This guy was all about insanity, the limits of what we can actually know.
Nicholas of Cusa. All right, I'm already liking the sound of this. What were his big ideas?
So Cusa, similar to Erigena, he was also fascinated by this whole idea of God being infinite, but also the source of everything, right? And he used this metaphor of unfolding to explain how this infinite God shows up in our finite world. Imagine a scroll, right? But it's endless, and it just keeps unrolling, revealing a little more each time. That was his take on creation.
It's like trying to wrap your head around the ocean, but all you've got is like a teaspoon of water. You get a glimpse, but the vastness of it, it's just too much.
And Cusa thought the more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know. He even called it learned ignorance, like realizing how much is out there beyond our grasp. It's humbling.
So it's kind of about making peace with the mystery of it all, right?
Yeah.
Accepting that some things will always be beyond us.
Exactly. And Cusa thought this learned ignorance, it's not a bad thing. It actually opens us up to a different way of knowing, one that goes beyond just logic and reason. He called it the coincidence of opposites, where things that seem contradictory, to us at least, they can exist together in the mind of God.
So like our brains are too small to get it, basically. We got to think bigger, more paradoxically, to even come close to how the divine works.
Man, we have covered some serious philosophical ground today, from like ancient dudes to the Middle Ages, all these different takes on why we crave wholeness, why we feel so, I don't know, incomplete sometimes.
And the thing is, these ideas, as old as they are, they still hit home today. That wanting to be whole, to belong, to be part of something bigger, it's timeless.
It really does make you think. If there's one thing we can take from all these philosophers, it's that finding wholeness, it's not about getting the right answer or reaching some finish line. It's the journey that matters, the questions, the searching, trying to understand ourselves, where we fit in the universe. That's the whole point.
And realizing that being imperfect, it's not something to be ashamed of. It's part of growing, part of what makes us human. It's often when we feel the most lost, the most broken apart, that we're really being challenged to look deeper, to grow, to reach for a bigger, fuller experience of ourselves and the world around us. Each of us, we've got our own path to wholeness to figure out, just like those thinkers did way back when. But their ideas, they remind us. Stay curious, be open to new ideas, and never stop asking the big questions about what it means to be human. That's the key, really.
You said it.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe in all that searching, you'll find that the wholeness you're after, it was always there inside you all along.